Hello, everyone. Welcome to Canada CPA Online Academy. Today, we have a special guest with us. So please welcome Kieenzle Mody. She is a CA from India and also a CPA from Canada. And currently, she is working as a business unit controller at Siemens. And she has her major experience in the manufacturing industry with specialization in strategy, costing, reporting, risk management. So lots of years of experience. And welcome Kieenzle, and she's going to share her insights, her struggle moving to Canada, settling into the job profiles, and let's hear her story today. So welcome. Um, would you start by telling us something about yourself, where you're working currently, what is your role, and things like that?
Sure. Hi, Deepa. Hi, everyone. So, thank you firstly for having me on your YouTube channel. I'm Kieenzle Mody. I'm from India, born and brought up in Mumbai, and moved to Canada in August 2017. Currently, I work, as Deepa mentioned, with Siemens as business unit controller, and I am a CA from India and a CPA CA in Canada.
Awesome. And like I always ask this question to the CAs who come to CPA. You know, CA is a very renowned designation in India. So why did you decide to pursue CPA when you already had a designation? What was your thought process? What made you like, was it already decided or you decided it here?
So basically, when we moved here, or when we started our process back in India to move here, I had heard about it that CA is not recognized in Canada, as in it's not a global certification. So in that sense, I started to research that what do most of the CAs do, and I also started to look for job opportunities. When I started to look for those job opportunities, the JDs had CPA in it. So they wanted CPA or CA or CGA kind of. At that time, even they were putting CGA as well. So then I was kind of getting that impression that CPA is required. We did our soft landing somewhere in January, and then I called up CPA here to figure out what are the steps, because I wanted to be a little bit more prepared when I go back, mentally as well as in terms of documentation. So I used that opportunity when we came here for 2 weeks on our soft landing, and did the groundwork to understand what is the process, what all things do I need. Obviously, they did not give me a lot of information. They directed me to their website and said that there are steps over there. Please follow those steps.
Yeah.
So I did my research, and then I figured that I think I need to do my CPA. So I made sure that when we came back in August, I was already prepared with all that I need in terms of documentation. So I made sure my membership record in India is perfect,
Yeah.
because you need the letter of good standing, right?
Yeah,
So
like if
obviously it was,
you have like many years, it's sometimes
yes.
if you're not in practice, especially that hours and things like that, you get derailed on that, right? Yeah, you have
Correct.
to
So,
be up
and
to
I had
date.
passed my CA in 2004, and we were here in 2017. So it was almost about 13 years. So I
Yeah,
wanted to be sure my record is perfect, because when I need to get the letter of good standing, everything is good. So I did that homework and groundwork in India. Of course, it was all clear, but I made sure. And then when I moved here, again, they had that 6 months validity for the letter of good standing. So I
right.
started the process to get the letter of good standing only once I landed here. I didn't
Mhm.
want it to be expired, right? So
Right,
that's how it was kind of, I made sure that I'm prepared to go for my CPA as well as mentally prepared.
right.
And right. So kind of for job, I already came with a job, which we can speak about later. So therefore for job, I didn't need, but I knew that if I want to grow in my career in Canada, I need to have CPA.
Right,
So
right. That is very true. And that is the one aspect. Like even I felt that um anything was not like that. I can't do this because I'm not a CPA, because we are properly trained as a
right,
CA, we have experience, and there was not a hurdle from the sense of that I can't do this because I'm not a CPA. Even for taxation or for
yeah,
ASPE, I found that with little research, we can apply our logic and definitely get the
exactly.
work done. It was not a hurdle at all.
Exactly.
But
It's just that they need a validation that because they don't know what CA is. Canadian
Right.
market doesn't know what CA is. And therefore, they need a validation to say that, okay, yes, you are qualified to kind of work as in the finance industry as a CPA. So
Right.
it's just a validation of all that you have learned over the years. That's all. That's how I looked at it and I approached it.
Definitely. Don't fight with it. Just get it done, right?
Just get it done. It's not so hard. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So before we dive deep into the interview, let's play a warm-up game and just to lighten the mood a little bit. So we'll play a game. So the nature is this or that. I'll give you two options. You have to choose one
Okay.
instantly. First thing, don't overthink whatever comes first to your
Oh my
mind.
gosh. I hope you're not going to give me very hard choices.
No, it's maybe let's see how you do.
Okay.
Okay. So first question, tough one. Okay, winter in Canada or hot summers in Mumbai? What
Winter
would
in
you choose?
Canada.
Winter in Canada. You would choose winter in Canada. Oh my God, I would never choose winter in Canada. I would
I
prefer
would choose
definitely
winter
for.
in Canada.
Okay. Um. Next one, then let's see this one. Ice hockey or cricket?
Cricket, any day.
Okay, cricket. There you are. Mm, which one is tough, CA or CPA?
CA,
CA. What would you prefer, audit or tax?
neither.
No
I
audit or
neither.
tax.
No audit, no. I'm in corporate, right?
Right.
I'm in controlling, so I'm away from both of
See,
those.
you are giving the third option as the answer, which is not allowed. You have to pick one. If you have to
If I
pick
have to
one,
pick one, I will go for audit.
audit, definitely. Tax is the dreaded T in the CPA exam as
I've
well.
not done tax for many, many years now. So no.
That's true. That's true. Public practice or corporate job?
Corporate job.
Okay. IFRS or ASPE?
IFRS.
IFRS? You're choosing the tough one. LinkedIn or Facebook?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Okay. You're networking type of person then. Accounting or finance?
Finance.
Okay. This is special for this year, I guess. Work from home or work from office?
That's a tricky one. You should have one more option there.
Best of both worlds, right?
Yes, and that's what Siemens offers me. So Siemens has this option of 3 days work from home and 2 days from office. So I would
Okay.
rather go for that one because 3 days is more. So I will say work from home.
Right. Okay. And the last one, Starbucks
Mhm.
coffee or homemade masala chai?
Masala chai.
Masala chai. Okay. So you are like hardcore still Indian living in Canada.
Yes.
Okay, but like I'm shocked you chose winter in Canada. Okay.
Because Mumbai summers are very harsh.
I know.
It's I mean, and I fall sick. Winter, at least I don't fall sick. So,
That's true.
so I don't mind winters because it's just for some time and you're back inside. But in summers, it's even if you have AC, it's still very hard.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to our interview. So, as we mentioned in the beginning, you have a lot of uh, experience in the manufacturing sector, the management accounting part, more of costing and everything. So, tell us something about that, how that work experience is, and also tell us like what are the similarities or differences between like the work culture that you find in India or in Canada. What do you find?
So, in terms of work culture in India and Canada, I would start with because I worked in manufacturing in both the places, as you said. I did not find too much of difference. The culture, it could also be because I work for a multinational company in India, which was Schneider Electric. And then I also did my manufacturing outside of India in Middle East. So, which was again a multicultural place or a country. So in that regard, I really didn't find too much of a difference in the culture, work culture per se. What really is a breakthrough is that some of the technology that India has, the SAP version that, for example, that I was working on,
Mhm.
in India versus some of my previous organizations in Canada is kind of a little different in the sense that India SAP was more advanced than where we are right now in Canada. But again, that's something which depends on the investment and the nature of business, right? India
Right.
has larger manufacturing base than Canada.
Yeah.
So that's why they have to make that investment because there are more users for it. So
Right.
in that regard, I did not find the culture to be so different. Did not, and one of the best things that I found within Canadian culture is that they're open to suggestions. It's up to you how you put your suggestions, but they're open to recommendations and suggestions. If you
Definitely.
if you try to impose on them, they will not accept it. But if you try to present it in a way which shows that there is something in it for them, it's beneficial, they will listen to it and they will at least be on board to work with you. Sometimes in India that's a little bit hard to kind of put it forward. But again, as I said, I was working for multinational organizations and really I did not find that much of difficulty in terms of or proposing my ideas or recommendations or working with the team, etc. So yeah.
Right. Right. Definitely. Like, I agree with the point. Like, if you have the rationalization for your idea, people are more open to make that change, or maybe a change in an internal control process, or just the way things are handled. They are definitely more open rather than a more rigid approach.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And then, like, every immigrant faces the challenge finding the first job. Like, if you're on a transfer from India to Canada on a job, that is still easier, but it's always the main struggle point for every immigrant to find a job. So, what are your thoughts? You have gone through all that process. What are your suggestions for the new immigrants? And tell
So
us something.
so basically in my journey it appears to be easier because I had a job when I moved here, but it wasn't. So I want to go back a little bit to January 2017. And here I moved with my family, which is my husband and my twin boys, who were 1.5 years when we moved in August. So when we did our first landing in January, they were not even 1 years old. So like it was already
It's
hard for us.
challenging. Yeah.
And my husband decided to stay back because obviously he had quit his job, and the idea was that one of us should have a job so that we don't use up our savings. So he decided to stay back, and I went with my two boys who were less than a year old at that time. They were like 11 months. I went back. So I mean, that itself was a difficult journey for me, and
Yeah.
that set the tone for me that this migration to Canada is not going to be simple for me. Going back, traveling itself, coming with him being there, with my husband being there, coming from India to Canada was in itself very hard. And then I went back alone, a 20, almost 18 hours journey by myself with two young kids. It
Yeah.
was like,
I can't
I mean,
imagine the flight.
I did not take any bio break. Can you imagine? 18 hours I did not take bio break because
Oh
I
man.
did not eat or take a bio break. So, but that set the tone basically. So when I went back, I started my groundwork of approaching the Canadian organization, Schneider Electric's Canadian organization, which is where I worked in India
Hmm.
when I was in India. And I started to see how I can apply for jobs. I went on the website intranet and I applied on every possible job, even a junior accountant role. I applied.
Yeah.
I was an associate general manager back in India,
Sounds
but
so familiar, It's like, give me some job, maybe as a junior accountant,
I even
I'll do
applied.
the data entry for you. Yeah.
I applied for a junior accountant job because I wanted a job in Schneider Electric, which
Yeah.
would make it easier. And my husband was in a very different profile, niche profile.
Hmm.
So it was going to be hard for him to get the job. With that idea in mind, I did everything. I reached out to everybody. I set up calls with the CFO here, and I said, I'm willing to do pro bono as well. Pro bono is basically doing voluntary work. That,
Yeah.
you don't pay me, I'm okay with it, but I will
Yeah.
come. You will
You
see.
just get that stamp of Canadian experience.
Right. Not even this time. It's just that I wanted them, Schneider Electric, to see me, Schneider Electric
Right.
Canada to see me that,
Mhm.
I have the talent. And I was very confident that if they see me, they will give me the job.
Right.
So I set up calls even when there was no opportunity. I would say, I want to talk to you. Let's just have one-to-one. And I will tell you what I'm doing, and etc. etc. I used references. I had a French manager, luckily in India. So I asked my French manager to help me out. And he knew somebody. So he referred me, and then she referred me to the Canadian CFO. And so like I took lots of referrals in Schneider itself and set up various calls, spoke to them. Eventually came the time wherein it was time for us to move, but there was still no job. And then I gave a last call to my manager who did my last interview, saying, I've quit and I have nothing. So I'm going to give my 45 days notice period in India, and that's it. And I'm flying on so and so date. Miracle happened, and they said, we have an opportunity. Last 4.5 months we have been working to create a position for you, and there is a
Oh,
position. So we are going to open it up for you. You apply it, and we will roll out the offer.
that's amazing. It's amazing the persistence you showed. And I tell all the CPA, like not just the CPA, whoever is trying to find a job, just be persistent. Like do one follow-up, second follow-up. Just like sometimes people are busy in their work and you are not their priority. For you, it's the entire world, but for
Exactly.
them,
So
it's just one small part. So be persistent.
it's also the word of mouth,
Yes.
the way you present yourself and people talk about you makes a lot of difference. They did not know me in Schneider Electric Canada,
Yeah.
but there were people who were speaking about me and said that no, she's an asset, and that's the leverage that you should use. So I
Yes.
used that equity in India to find a job for myself in Schneider Electric Canada, and that worked. So I moved here with the job eventually. I retracted my resignation back in Schneider Electric India, and it became a transfer then.
Okay.
And then I moved here. Of course, the journey again wasn't easy. And then once I came here, you have the pressure of delivering on their expectations, right? Then
Yes.
otherwise, it's kind of, because all the talking is done. The real work starts when you have the job. So
Yes. Yes.
so you have.
And I want to take you back again. Like I know, like you took the job, but that was a level or two levels below, right?
Right.
It was not a lateral movement. It
No, it
was
wasn't a
so.
lateral movement. You're right.
How do you take it? Like starting, like I know I have also gone through, but I want to understand your
Sure.
perspective. How do you
So
handle it emotionally, mentally? How do you be strong at that point?
So miracle, when I said that happened, they offered me the job, and I looked at it and they said, but you know what? The job is grade 6 and you are grade 9. And I said, that's fine with me, because I said I applied for a junior accountant role, which is no grade whatsoever. So I said, I am totally fine with what you have right now. I will take it, because I was very confident that I will be able to prove myself and grow up. So I did that, and I mentally prepared myself, saying that this job is not for the sake of like moving to Canada, but it's more about a long-term perspective, that you have to have a step in, you have to have a starting point. And also it was one of the things that family needed at that time. Obviously, I was
Yes.
confident once I land, I would get something, but it wouldn't probably have been Schneider Electric. It would have been something else. And I didn't want to give up on Schneider Electric, because it's a global brand. So
Yes.
with that in mind, it was either I take it or I come without a job. And I said, no, I'm going to take it. Whatever it is, I'm going to take it, because it helps my family at the end of the day. And I had young
Yes.
kids who I knew will have to go to the daycare, and living expenses with young kids is too high here. So
Yes.
so I said,
Definitely.
fine, prepare yourself to do any job that comes. It comes to you, right? It comes across you. Because if
Yes.
you have the capabilities, you will grow. You will prove yourself, that's for sure. Or at least that experience in the brand name will help you, which was what my story happened to be. I did not grow in Schneider Electric Canada, but I definitely used my experience to grow outside, but within the same industry. So that's,
Definitely.
I mean, it's something. Sometimes you grow within the organization, sometimes you grow outside. But
Yeah, it depends on how like you need to get the chance, right? And uh, there is nothing harmful to take that opportunity, right? It's not your final fate. It's you can
exactly,
always build
it's a
on that.
stepping
Yeah.
stone. Take it as a stepping stone. Which, in this case, that role was something which I was doing in 2010. So it kind of removed my 6 years of experience, and I was like, fine. It's at the end of the day, I'm looking at the bigger picture. Look at the bigger picture, look at the end goal. You have to make sacrifices sometimes. You have to compromise, but that's okay. So
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, it's like it's so inspiring to hear those words from you, because there are a lot of people that are, when you are in that phase and you're applying and rejection, no interview, it's very easy to get depressed, to doubt yourself. Did I make a mistake moving here? Is it like this? You like start wondering all your choices, but hang in there. Like there is
exactly.
always a light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah.
Exactly. So just that's what my advice is to the people who are going to be listening to this, is that hang in there, be persistent, use your equity back in India to find something for yourself here. Start
Yeah.
with your own organization, your own inner circle, and then go outside. So
Yeah,
that's your stepping stone.
definitely. Yeah. Okay. And moving back to CPA, like what do you think was the most challenging? Like if we compare CA, CPA, definitely CPA was easier considering the grill that we go through the CA. Even we are more matured after our experience.
Right.
That also helps, because when you have worked on things, you have a
Yeah.
different perspective. But again, the format is very different.
Right.
Case study pattern is different. So what was the most challenging thing in terms of clearing the CFE?
For me, the most challenging was not the study material or the study pattern or the exam pattern. The most challenging for me was being able to make that time, because
Hmm.
as I said, I passed out in 2004 and I was going back to studies in 2017, 2018, which is almost like 13 and 14 years. And this time, I did not have my mother to support me, who was there to support me when I passed out in 2004. I had, in fact, I was a mother myself and I had two kids to support, right? So, I mean, that was something which was very hard for me, being full time working, having family responsibilities, and then trying to study and write these 5 hour long cases. So, and then having that secluded place, because obviously when you're moving to Canada, you don't have a 2 bedroom or 3 bedroom place. You have a very
Yeah.
small place, right? So mine was
Yeah.
like 1 bedroom. So in that, we were four of us and 1.5 year old kids. You can imagine how much
Yeah.
difficult it would be. But I made myself and I said, no, you know what? I will use my condo library. So I used that. I used to wake up at 6 o'clock and make that time for myself. That weekends I have to study because weekdays I cannot. Weekdays then, as the exams got closer, I started to study from 11 to 1, 11 to 2, 11 to 3 in the night. So
Hmm.
so it's something that was more challenging. The material, the pattern wasn't, because I've been in corporate culture, in analysis, in corporate finance for many, many years now. So it kind of comes very naturally to me to, to present, to analyze, to write a case, to be more logical.
Yeah.
Hard was going into the IFRS, bare IFRS, and finding
Yeah.
the small little conditions that
Yes.
for which the case would come.
Yeah.
That was very difficult. So I used to just read them like I'm reading a book. Okay, it's a
Hmm.
novel, just keep reading them, maybe something will get retained.
Yeah. Even I struggle, I used to give the answer, how we think everything in our head, and I used to conclude, and then I used to get NC or RC. I'm like, why? But like, because you didn't explain. Oh my God, I have thought everything, but you have to like learn the
Explain.
technique, how to
I didn't
present.
have to go through that, because what also worked for me is that I did not have time to study. So what I did is, when I was practicing my cases, when it came to, I had not finished my technicals, which was capstone 2 time, and I'd still not finished my technicals. So what I ended up doing is I used to read the case beforehand. Before
Hmm.
appearing for the case, I used to read it, and read as in not mug it up, but more about read it and see what they are trying to say. So that when
Hmm.
I'm trying to write the case 2 days later, I will see how much actually I could retain and whether I'm able to adopt that pattern. And I did
Hmm.
really well, because that worked. As after looking at it, I had got an idea as to how to approach the case, what is it that they're expecting, and it became a lot more simpler for me. I mean,
Yeah.
it works from person to person. Technicals doing
Yes.
is excellent, but I
Hmm.
didn't have the time, and I cannot kill myself for that. I didn't have the time. I didn't have the time. What do I do? I had to appear
Yeah,
for the
definitely.
exams.
Like you are qualified enough. Like I give the advice to the students, like listen to 10 people what they're saying, but ultimately find out what works for you.
Works for you, exactly.
Yeah, sometimes some people like they will just brush up the technicals and do it. Some people don't get confidence until they know the technicals thoroughly. Sometimes some people need that like writing practice of the each and every case to get the confidence. Some people will just browse through
Right.
it, get solve it in their head, and they
It's
will get
different
the
for
confidence.
everyone. You have to
Yes.
adopt what works for you. This worked for me, but if I would at that point of time, if I were to share this with anybody, they would have said, "No, you're foolish. You shouldn't be
Right.
working like this." But and that's why I chose to not tell to a lot of people at that time, because I didn't want to bog myself down saying, oh, everybody else is getting C's and RC's and I'm not getting. But that's okay. I mean, therefore I referred the case, I looked at the solution to give that confidence to myself, and I knew in the exam scenario I will deliver. I will be within
Definitely.
that 5 hours, 6 hours, whatever the time is, 3 hours, 5 hours, I'll be within it. So it was fine.
Yes, yes, definitely. Amazing. um and just to close, what is the closing piece of advice for the students, for the immigrants, for whoever is watching this video and trying to get an advice? Looking back at the success, it's easy to stand at the peak and say something, but the person who has climbed that mountain knows what every day they
Exactly.
have gone through, right?
So my only piece of advice is that even if you grow up in Canada, you grow in your career, don't forget your difficult and hard days, because nothing is easy here. Nothing comes to you without working for it. It is the job, it is the CPA, it is the network, it is even friends. You don't make them without working hard for it to make a social circle for yourself. So my only advice to people is don't forget your hardships, don't forget your difficult days, but at least don't let it impact you so much that you get depressed and you start to think, okay, you start to doubt yourself. So hang in there, do everything. And if you really need to talk to someone, pick up your phone and speak to people. There have been days where I have cried and literally cried, and I said, why did I move to Canada? I mean, I was so happy in Bangalore. I had like everything possible. Why did I move here? But then sometimes you have to also absorb that and say that you came here for a greater good. So think that, keep that end goal in your mind, and then everything will be a lot more easier. Speak to people. We are in a very difficult situation right now. One year of COVID has impacted everyone mentally, physically, and so use this time to work upon yourself, to talk to people, build the network. And one last advice, networking here doesn't mean that you ping people and you say, can you help me with a job?
Yeah.
No. The networking piece here is you build a relationship. You talk to them over a period of time, wish them on their birthdays, wish them on their work anniversaries, ask them, make smaller talks, and then you can ask somebody for a job.
Right. Definitely. Yeah. So can people reach you for
Sure.
your advice? Where to reach you?
So you can reach me on LinkedIn. It's already Kieenzle Mody. We can put it in your description later if you like, my LinkedIn link, and or you can email me as well. Again, those details are on my profile. So I'm
Okay.
always available, and I've heard from people that I'm quite responsive on LinkedIn. If I'm not, please be patient. I will respond to you. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kinzel. It was very helpful, insightful, and you spoke your heart out. So I hope it would help someone in their journey. If I'm like, my intention is always if I could help one person,
For
then
sure.
my even in the whole crowd, I'm happy with that. I'll take that as a win. So thank you so much, and thank you
I
everyone
just
for
have
joining us. Yeah.
last comments. So, outside of my work, outside of business unit controller for Siemens, I also run this group on LinkedIn, which is Asian Women in Accounting in Canada. It's a
Mhm.
fairly new group. Please join that group, because that's for women who are trying to move to Canada, looking for a job or settle in. And it's just not job specific. I am open, and I'm planning to organize events which will help us not just professionally but also personally. So yoga sessions, stress busters, etc. So please join that group only when either you are in Canada or almost in the process of landing in Canada. Again, the group name is Asian Women in Accounting in Canada.
I'll add the link in the description of the video so that people could find it
Sure.
easily.
Thank you so much, Deepa.
Thank you so much. And everyone, please share, like, subscribe the channel. Please send the link of the video with your CPA students or whoever could benefit from this channel. And thank you. Thank you again. See you again.
See you. Thank you so much. All the best, Deepa.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.